Hello, how are you? I'm
Hi.
Shana from Uruguay. Um, and now we are going to discuss about a really interesting topic that is Generation C to Generation AI. Well, first I want to know a bit about you. So I want to know your name and where are you from. Well, who wants to start? Leilani, you want? Well, Facundo?
Okay, thank you. My name is Facundo Caccianini. I'm from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I'm 20 years old, and I'm currently studying international relations.
Oh, so interesting. Well, we are pretty near to each other. So I'm from Uruguay and you are from Argentina.
Yeah.
Well, now, Leilani, that's your turn.
Well, hello, my name is Leilani Morales. I'm a current high school senior from Puerto Rico and a 2024 Rice Fellow. In university, I plan on majoring in chemical engineering.
Wow. And
I should,
what
I
about
should be.
Tuma Coimbra?
Hi, I'm Kfir. I'm originally from Israel, but I'd be representing Portugal, Coimbra.
Oh, well, that's so far. Like all ocean we had to cross to go to the but well, now getting into the topic that is the main thing of this conversation, I want to ask you a few questions so you can answer me and tell me what you think about it. Well, I will start with, if AI can generate music, art, and fashion, what happens to job culture? Are we still trendsetters or are we just AI audience? What do you think? Lailani, do you want to speak?
Yes. So I believe that youth culture has always thrived on creativity, reinvention, and pushing boundaries. It's something that characterizes us for many years. And although AI can generate trends based on data, it truly lacks the lived experiences, the cultural nuances that we in particular can contribute to these disciplines. And we're still the trendsetters. I believe that AI is simply just another tool that we can use to amplify our ideas, but we have to be careful to ensure that AI does not replace them.
What an interesting point. And Facundo, do you agree with Leilani or do you have another view?
I completely agree with her. I think that human touch is irreplaceable, and we are going to use AI just as a tool.
Yes. Well, I can say that I agree with you both. And oh, I don't remember your name, sorry, but the guy from Coimbra, do you want to say something about this?
Yeah, well, likewise, I couldn't agree more with her. I believe that AI should only be a tool and not something for us to use as a lazy option to do the work for us.
Yes, it's like a tool like many others, not that like the main thing that, well, that's what I think. It could be a different opinion from others. Well, the next question is, does AI make it easier or harder for our generation to have original thoughts and opinions? Well, Facundo, do you want to start this time?
Yes, of course. Well, I think that at first it could be make it harder because AI provides really good answers, and it's convenient and easy to just repeat them. But the key is balancing between our own ideas and the ones that AI provides us with.
Yes. What do you think, Coimbra?
Well, actually, I often think that it can help a lot actually with us building our creativity because at first we actually ask the question, like in ChatGPT, we ask a question of of something, or for her to do something. So we come up with what we need to do, and she helps us with coming up with ideas to support creativity or to give us ideas.
Yes, I totally agree with you that many times AI can be a really useful tool to learn something new or to help with other things, but not only as using for it like, well, um, not only do sorry, being focused on so only in that is not okay. You have to be, well, this is my point of view, obviously, but you have to search for other things and not only use this as a helper. What do you think, Leilani?
Well, I definitely agree with what has been said previously. I think that AI could serve as a form for us to amplify our original thoughts and opinions, but it really depends on how we engage with it. So I think that one way in which we can ensure that it does not completely override all of our personal opinions and thoughts is by consistently seeking academically and intellectually enriching opportunities, whether that be through reading widely, engaging in debates, or tackling complex problems that require like these very original solutions and truly challenge us and our knowledge. And just seeking to solve problems creatively rather than just taking AI suggestions and what information that it produces at face value.
Yes, of course. AI nowadays is well, the main topic, and is the information that provides is not always true. So we have to take care about it. Well, we have to be careful. Sorry, we have to be careful about it. And yes, we always should know how to think about by ourselves. Do you agree? Well, we can continue with the next question, that is, can we actually influence how AI develops, or are we just passive users of whatever big tech give us? Well, Facundo, do you want to begin?
Yeah, of course. Well, I think that individually it's pretty hard to be heard by these big tech companies, but if we join a movement and we start participating in debates and discussions, we can be heard.
Yes, as a society, we can be more than the technology. Well, and Leilani, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with Facundo. I think that personally, I'd like to believe that we have more influence than we think. And the younger generations are certainly becoming involved on this development of AI and how it is shaping our everyday lives, whether that be through advocacy, education, or pursuing careers within AI development. We have a fundamental role in shaping how technology evolves rather than just letting it override and taking over these distinct parts of our everyday lives.
Well, Kafir, what's your point of view related to what Leilani said?
I agree with her completely.
Well, can we move on to the next question? If AI can predict what we'll like before we even know it, does that make our choices more authentic or less? Well, Kafir, would you like to begin?
Does it make our choices more or less?
Yes.
Well, I think our choices will always be up to us. We always have a choice, and whether it's a machine that gave us idea about what to do, but in the end of the day, it will be us who decide what we do.
Yes, I totally agree with you, but I don't know if the others agree too. So I want to hear Facundo.
Yeah,
What's
I
your
actually think that um, AI provides options, so they are predetermined options that you can choose from. They create a menu and curate content with what you have previously seen, so it makes them your decisions less authentic because its convenience is good, but it makes it less authentic, your opinions. And the content you consume is being provided by these AI algorithms.
So, do you think that the AI is limiting us to decide that we have a few choices and not like all the range that we could have?
Yeah, I think that we don't have all the options that are available in the market. I think that they are constantly checking our data and looking at what we are seeing and are constantly trying to choose and now and narrow the selection of choices.
So interesting. And what about you, Leilani? What do you
I
think about?
Yeah, I certainly agree with what has been said, and I think that this ability of AI to take over what we believe in is, it really depends on whether we blindly follow recommendations, and this will eventually lead to us losing agency over our personal choices and what makes us us. And I think that we should aim to truly ma maintaining this level of authenticity to ourselves, which inevitably makes us human, to continue pursuing these passions that maybe fall out of the norm and define for ourselves what truly makes us us. So if we let AI dictate our preferences too much, we may risk losing that spontaneity that often leads to the most meaningful discoveries, whether that be in a wide array of disciplines, the sciences, the arts, and mathematics, and anything really.
Wow, that's really interesting. I really like what you said. Well, can we move on to the next question? Well, AI chatbots and influencers are becoming more human-like. Will our generation be the first to build real emotional connections with AI? Well, Kafir, do you like to begin?
Yeah, sure. Emotions. Wow. I think chatbots are something very interesting because it can often appear to be like a person, and you don't really know. Also, in our current days, you don't really know who is standing behind this monitor and who is actually typing the words. So it's very easy to develop emotions to something that is behind the monitor, but you can't really know if it is real or not.
Well, that's a really important point that sometimes we really don't know. The one that is in our phones, it can be, well, who are we chatting with? That's a question that we should have when we are talking to a person, or well, as you say, it could be not a person in other parts of the world. That's, well, really, really interesting. Leilani, what do you think about it?
So I agree. I think that moving forward with all of these different advancements, um, I believe so. I believe that maybe our generation will be the first to maybe form real emotional connections with AI, but whether are these real is truly in the question, because it's very unclear whether this is for good or bad. AI becomes more human-like, and it might feel emotional gaps for some, but it's truly important to understand that AI it truly cannot fully replace a relationship between humans. And there are certain aspects such as cultural understanding, intuition, and shared lived experiences that are irreproducible by AI. And the more we rely on AI for social connection, the more we unfortunately risk losing touch with the complexities that make human relationships so rich and so meaningful.
Yes, that's totally true. Well, for me. And Facundo, what do you think?
Well, I totally agree with what she said. I think that it, AI is good at a conversational level, but we are not going to get to a deep level, as we are not going to get involved with emotions with AI, because those are really complex, and AI systems actually lack genuine emotions. They can mimic some, but they don't have them.
Yes, yes. We discussed before with my group here in Uruguay that the AI can't have like an identity, or it can be creative. So it's really important to know that, well, as nowadays we will know in the future, but that we are something that can be replaced, as some people is afraid of that the AI will replace us, and that's something that appears in the movies, that in future the robots will be the leaders of the world and those things. But well, that's what something that I wanted to mention, and we can continue. So, well, what about AI? No, oh, sorry. Our parents saw the rise of internet. We are growing up with AI. How is our relationship with technology different from theirs?
So I believe that our parents saw technology initially as a tool, something that they eventually adapted to. On the other hand, for us, the challenge is maintaining a balance between AI's convenience and also preserving human creativity, privacy, and independent thought. So while our parents were maybe like very excited by this incredible amount of information that they easily had just like at their fingertips, pretty much, we have to be mindful about how AI curates and filters that information for us by through these different tools and these different platforms that facilitate access to AI usage. And ultimately, this makes digital literacy and critical thinking even more essential for our generation, as these will be the tools that will inevitably enable us to determine what is real information against false information, as we have seen through the rise of fake news being propagated through the internet, for example.
Well, Kafir, what's your thoughts about this? Do
I totally agree, but uh,
opinion?
I agree. So, a tool is something that we need to keep it in mind, because a tool can help us to do things good and bad. Like, say, a hammer. You can take a hammer to put up your portrait on the wall, but you can also take that same hammer to vandalize things. And that is something very important to keep in mind, that for it being a tool, it is still something that can be used for the good and for the bad.
Yes, that's totally true. That this artificial intelligence is new, that is growing, we can say, because we are new in this topic. That well, it can be like something else that can be used as real good, will propose that for good or bad reason, as you say, Kafir. And also, as many other things, for example, bombs that when they were created, it was with a good like objective, a good goal. Sorry, and now they are they are like a distraction, something that destroy things. Well, sorry, I was like talking about other thing, but it was a comparison. And Facundo, I want to know your opinion.
Well, I completely agree with what Lenani said. I think we have today technology normalized in our daily routines, and digital content even feels organic and intuitive.
Well, a really good, interesting point. Well, can we move on to the next one? Um, should we push for AI ethics and transparency, or will we just go along with whatever's easiest to use? Well, Facundo, it's your
Yeah,
time.
okay. Yeah, I think that our privacy shouldn't be the price we pay for convenience. Uh, it's tempting to yes, don't read anything that big tech companies tell us, but we should be being careful, as the guy from Portugal said, of what they are actually giving us.
I certainly agree. I believe that we should absolutely push for ethics and transparency. The easiest route often leads to problems down the line, bias, misinformation, and loss of privacy. If we don't advocate for responsible AI usage now, we will be dealing with the consequences later on. And we can see how these are issues that are coming up even nowadays. And transparency in AI decision making is critical because biased algorithms can reinforce societal inequalities. And if today, starting now, we don't question how AI is built and implemented, we risk allowing corporations and governments to use it in ways that might not align with public interests and may not benefit us.
Yes, well, you say so many things that were so interesting that I can't say a word more. And well, Kafir, what's your point of view?
Yeah, so that is something I'd actually like to highlight, which is the point that this tool AI can be used for the bad things, and it often reminds me of how nothing is an enemy to humanity but humanity itself. And it's not AI that is the problem, like how we see in movies that scares us. It's not the how AI can be used by the government or by some companies to create fear and to do bad things, but it's actually the people who are the bad that cause the bad. That's the humanity itself that brings destruction upon itself.
Well, you have a point. So we created AI, so we are the ones that are responsible for it. So if this is not good or if it has a bad use, it's because of us, not because of the AI. That's totally true.
It's more
Well,
than just create, it's also teach.
the next question that is someday we're the some say that we are the last real generation before AI takes over everything creative and social. Do you agree? Well, would you like to begin, Leilani?
Of course. So I believe that no, creativity isn't just about producing content. It's about storytelling, emotion, and lived experiences. This wide set of notions that are human. And in fact, some of the most revered masterpieces are celebrated not just because of their technical execution, or the ability for them to produce or the ability for them to produce a certain type of art which is also revered, but it is also revered because of the deeply personal stories behind them. Take Van Gogh, Renoir, among many others. AI can mimic style, but it cannot live those experiences and it cannot communicate them. Thus, it cannot communicate and convey them through distinct works of art. The human capacity for self-expression, for using art to process emotions and communicate meaning, will always set us apart. AI might be able to generate content, but it doesn't, but the content that it may generate does not have that soul, that creative and unique aspect of it that humans can produce.
Wow. What about you, Kafir? What do you think?
Yeah, so I quite agree with how it's us that still will have the creativity, but I also believe that often there will be people who are less creative than the rest, so they will decide and choose AI to be the source of creativity. But there will always be those who are different and those who choose to do different and be different.
Well, and Facundo, what do you think? What's your point of view about this?
Well, I think that every generation faces technological shifts, and that doesn't erase that the authenticity of creativity is still human.
Oh, excuse me. So, hello everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I am Emma Revalo, and I was next to Juliana, although you were not able to see me. I was next to her, listening to all your perspectives and points of view, which I think were extremely, extremely enriching. And for that reason, I can say that it's a pleasure for me to be here. And I would like to ask you another things. Next question is, if AI, influencers, artists, and creators dominate the internet, where do actual humans fit in? I would like to know what you think about that. Facundo, would you like to start?
Yeah, of course. Well, I think that human creations are irreplaceable, that machines, AI can only mimic what we do. They can't create content like ours. It lacks the experiences that we have, and that is what resonates with the people. Our experiences, the local traditions from which those things are created.
I cannot agree more with you. Even when we talk about creativity, about being creative, we are being subjective. And when we're talking about being subjective, we also mix and involve our experiences. We take part, we are from a certain culture, or we live in that society with certain values. And for that reason, we are all different. And that's so enriching and something that AI does not have the ability to mimic. But let's move to another perspective. What do you think, Afir, about that?
Well, in the end of the day, every creation has a source of inspiration. And I believe that AI is highly relying on this inspiration, and the inspiration will come from our creations, from us, the humans.
I totally agree with you. That's so true. Liliani, what do you think about that?
I think that human will always bring something that AI can't, whether that be lived experiences, emotions, unpredictability. AI might generate content, but people still crave authenticity. While AI may flood the internet with mass-generated content, people will always seek out those voices that feel real. And this is the reason why we personally, and it is something that maybe the other panelists may relate to, is how we are personally interested in content creators that may have share the same interests with us and that have that empathetic side to them. And it's something that while they are sharing their stories, whether that be through any social media platform, we feel that they face issues and they have concerns that we also share. So I think that humans will certainly fit in, and that within this oversaturated world with AI generated content, inevitably these people will stand out, and yes, organically produced content will certainly stand out.
Thank you very much for all your perspectives and taking into account what we have all said. I think we are all in the same page. And well, now we can continue with the last question. But to start with, last but not least, because in my opinion, this is such an enriching and really interesting question. Um, here it goes. What's one thing our generation should do now to make sure AI works for us, not other way around? What do you think about that? Would you like to start, Liliani?
Absolutely. So I think that it is imperative for us to stay informed and engaged, understanding how AI works, questioning its influence, and actively shaping its development through ethics, policy, and innovation will ensure that we control AI and it is not the other way around. It's also crucial that we develop literacy and specifically in regards to AI, not just learning how to use AI, but understanding how it makes decisions and where exactly does its biases stem from and how we can play a key role in improving these pertaining issues in actuality within AI. And by taking an active role in AI development, we ensure that it aligns with with human values and thus works for the progression of humans within society rather than deter it.
Absolutely. We have to think about AI and technology in general as a tool in order to help us. And we have to think about a balance, creating a balance. But I would like to know what Facundo thinks about this.
Well, I couldn't agree with her more. It's all about getting informed. It's all about taking charge, trying to actively shape how AI systems work, and just being there is it can be used as a tool for empowerment, and that's where we should focus.
I cannot agree more with you. Kefir, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I believe most importantly is to learn that AI should only be a tool and not our brain, and to learn to use it as a tool and not to use us, for us to use it.
That's so true. And well, I think that this was our last question. But as a closing, as a close up, I would like to say that let's watch what's happening here. We are all teenagers. We are all young people who are discussing about AI. We are the new generations, as Mr. Mark Prensky said. We are digital natives, and we have born with technology in our lives. And for that reason, we have to really be aware of what it is, the way we can use it, the way we can balance, and the way we can include it properly in our lives. And at the same time, I think these kinds of opportunities and events are really important because they gives us the voice, they gives us the chance to speak our minds about this because we are shaping our future. And after I have said this, I just want to say that it was a pleasure for me and also I think for Juliana who is there for letting to know you and what are your perspectives. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.